What's going on, guys? Hope you're doing very well. Hope you're having a nice day. And I want to show you this video where we're going to transplant this little ficus. I think the video that was before the last one, I show you the update on this little guy. This is a collected wild variety of the Ficus benjamina, and I collected it. It was growing on a crack on the ground about 1 year ago, 1.5 years ago. So we can see that because of spring it's now moving, it's got new growth, and we can see that it's got a nice flaring root. We're going to transplant it because we want to start to reduce the pot size, just so in the future we can put it in a bonsai pot. This is, I think, a 1 gallon, it's less than 1 gallon pot, nursery pot. So we're going to transplant it to a smaller container, in a more shallow container. So it'll be very good for the tree in general. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to position the camera right here. I got the soil ready here. I also got my pruners, and we're going to go ahead and take this out of its pot. We'll be able to see the state in which the roots are in. So if we take this to the side, we realize that, we got strong roots at the bottom. It's got a nice root mass. But yeah, it would be better if we start to work on the roots. So first thing that we do, we start to remove the soil carefully. Some people like to do it from the top down. Some other people like to do it from the bottom up. I think it doesn't matter. If you're working with root of a rock bonsai like we did yesterday, well, that's a different story. But normally people, they start to work from the top down because they want to uncover the nevari, and they want to improve the roots and the structure every time that they perform an operation like a transplant, right? So that's something that we can keep in mind whenever we transplant. Okay, so as we can see here, we have very strong roots. Those are going to come off, and we're going to encourage the growth of side roots. That's what we want in a bonsai, right? Roots are growing horizontally. This was growing in a little bit of turfus, but this had definitely more clay. The soil that it had before, it was your regular garden soil, It's a very dark colored soil that, it has a lot of nutrients at first, but then if it dries out, we can see that it starts to have problems because it's, it just gets spent, and it doesn't have any more nutrients. It starts to develop problems when it comes to the flow of water. So it's better if we transplant this to a more high quality bonsai soil. Okay, so we can see that we've succeeded in untangling the root mass, and we've eliminated some of the roots that are no longer useful for us. I think I'm gonna take this huge knob off. It's like a tuber that's growing right there. So let me see where it goes. One thing about ficus is that we can perform very heavy root operations. Normally with a pine I would never wash roots, but with a ficus we can very well do that, and it will be absolutely no problem, just because they're so vigorous when it comes to their roots. Yeah, I'm gonna take a chance here. Let's see where this goes. This root. I think it's a huge root that we took out already, because it goes down, grows directly down. So if we turn the tree here, we can see that these roots were all growing downwards. So that's a no-no, right? Remove those, and we encourage the growth of side roots. Okay, I think we have it. I think it might be a good idea to wash the soil off the roots so we can see what we're working with even better. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so here we go. Washing the root mass. Take this to the side. I'm going to use another water container just so it's easier to maneuver. Right. It looks nice. So after we watered, we realized that yeah, it's got a nice root mass, but there are definitely some things that we can improve. So for example, this huge root that grows here, yeah, I don't know about that. The same with this one. It grows here, but it goes down, and I think that's where this huge root that we took, that we cut here, goes. So I think we're gonna go ahead and remove this one, and also this one right here. So we don't have to go back to the table, we can do that right here. So I'm just gonna position the tripod here, and then I'm gonna go get my wire cutters just so it's easier to cut. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so we're here, and we're gonna take this one off. It's huge. There we go. It's so tangled. We'll be able to take it out. Okay. So there we go. And this one too. There we go. This one is huge too. Okay. So, of course, these are gonna heal, and they're not gonna look like this, like an open wound for a long time. There we go. So now that we cut that, this will grow to the sides, and that will be, you know, our end result. Will grow to the sides, and it'll be a nice looking bonsai. Okay, so we can go back to the table so we can continue with the transplant. So we're back inside. What I'm going to do is refine these cuts a little bit more. That's pretty much it here. This will start to heal over like this. This is actually like a piece of bark already. It's no longer a root. We can see the cambium there. So this will heal as if we were dealing with a scar. Yeah, it's a different story with this one, but I'm hoping that we get nice feeder roots that grow from this cut point right here. So that's pretty much it. Maybe in future transplants we can refine this even further. Okay, so let's go right ahead and pour the soil into the new container so we can see its final position. Right. Sorry for all the noise, but there are construction workers right outside my window. They're working on the pavement, so that's why we get, you know, ambient noise. Okay, standard procedure, a little mound in the middle. Then we place it like so. And then we continue adding more soil. So this is seal. This is turfus, and a little bit of organic matter. In this case, I think it's worms castings, and a little bit of cocoa powder. So one thing about turfus that I really like is that for me it's very useful because it holds a lot of water. In countries and in places where it rains a lot and you know, the weather is not so hot and dry, turfus might not be a good idea because it holds so much water. You have problems with excess water on your roots. But here it's like a, you know, it's an advantage rather than a disadvantage. Okay? So we're getting there. Start to put the soil in all the cracks and all the crevices. Yeah. So, let's go. I think we can, you know, push it a little bit so it's horizontally, and now it looks good. Okay, that's pretty much it. But the last thing that we will do, it's a very important thing. Remember, we talked about this yesterday. I'm gonna go ahead and place it here. Yeah, I'm just gonna hold the camera in my hand. The last thing that we talked about yesterday was about, well, it was actually the first thing, because I already done it when we started the video. We don't want this tree to suffer a shock. Remember, it has a lot of foliage, but we've just caught a bunch of roots that we're feeding this foliage. So we need to balance that loss of roots with, you know, cutting some of the foliage so the tree doesn't suffer from trying to keep a lot of foliage with a limited amount of roots. So I've waited a couple of weeks so the foliage could be developed and matured. That way the tree is not wasting energy in little new leaves that are just going to get pruned anyway. So I waited a couple of weeks to do this operation. I think it's going nicely. Here we can see that there are two little branches growing from one spot, so we can remove this one. I've also been removing, if you've noticed, branches are growing directly upwards, so those we can remove too. This, I think this one will be the new apex right here, or if not, this one, we can keep it as sacrificial branch. Branches that are going up, we can remove, so we can encourage the lateral growth of this tree, right? Yeah, so the new apex we can go ahead and remove because it's just in the way of the sacrificial one. That's pretty much it, you guys. a nice way to see how your tree is developing, how your tree is looking up. And we can see that we've managed to get already a triangular shape. And after we water, we'll realize and we will see how much the Navarre is improved, because it's now much more shallow, right? So last thing that we will do is give this a thorough watering, and we'll call this a day. So let's go ahead and do that. So here we are. Same thing that we did yesterday with the root over rock. Just give it a nice spray so we can water without any problems. Little piece of root. Okay, so let's water. And here we go. That's it. Water running down. You can see that the drainage is working, and this will benefit this overall structure of the tree. So I think we have it, you guys. You can see that this little tree will be a nice addition, a nice addition to any collection in a couple of years. Little pieces of cambium, pieces of bark. Remember, that's going to heal like a scar, because it's no longer part of the root mass. We can see the cambium right here. So it'll be good. Even if it looks kind of ugly right now, in the future it'll be very good. Still, I think the front of the tree will be this one. Wait, no, this one right here. So in the future we can look forward to what happens to this little ficus. That's it. So now it's time for a little update on one of my projects. And it's this little guy right here, remember it? The little Himalayan cedar that's growing, that we've been fertilizing with organic fertilizer. It's growing nicely. And we can see that beautiful blue color that new needles get. Something very interesting about this one is that we can definitely see the vigor that this spring has given the tree. If you can see there, I don't know if you can see very well, but we can definitely see that the wiring is now biting into the bark of the tree, into the little trunk. And that's why this is growing very fast. It's growing at an accelerated rate. We can see that that's going to be, this one right here is going to be a back branch. We're going to have to wire into position, and then also, prune the tips so we can encourage back budding. We already have a little bit of back budding, but if we want to encourage it even more and develop a nice ramified structure of the tree, it would be better if we prune the tips, if we cut the tips. So that's it. I hope you like this video. If you have any comments, questions, or anything, please drop them down below. And as usual, I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.